I don't know. I cringe. I really cringe when I hear the sound of my voice. Did you ever feel that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. I think it's a completely normal thing. You'll start to. Maybe I'm just like, maybe I'm too vain, but I started to like my voice. But only when people started to say they like my voice.
Yeah.
But before that, I hated my voice. I was like, I sound so cringe. I sound like a little nerd.
Yeah.
I sound like a guy who's like holding his nose, like this, like.
Yeah.
I used to get bullied a lot for my voice as well. So like,
me too.
I didn't like it. Yeah. I didn't like it, but you know what? I think people who bully you for your voice, they're probably just jealous of your voice.
Yeah, right.
So I wouldn't worry about it. I think just starting out.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chocobo Radio, episode number 20. Now, today we have a very, very good show because I have none other than Azurite here with me on the pod. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the people who don't know who you are, and if I pronounce your name correctly.
Yes, Azurite is good.
Awesome.
Hello everyone, I am Azurite. I make videos on YouTube, and I also stream here on Twitch. My YouTube videos are mostly like guide focused and stuff like that, but I do also branch into entertainment as well. Because there's no fun. It's boring to watch education. Well, a bit of fun,
Right. So there's a lot of topics that I want to talk about today, but I think where I want to start is with FanFest. FanFest is coming to London next Saturday. Are you going to be there?
No, unfortunately not. I did try and get a ticket, but I didn't win the lottery.
Yeah.
And I was a bit sad about that. And none of my friends also got tickets, so I'll be staying at home watching it on Twitch with my community.
Gotcha. Have you ever been to a FanFest before in the past?
Yeah, so I actually went, I can't remember the year, but it was a FanFest in Frankfurt, Germany, and it was during Heaven's War time, so just before.
Oh wow!
Blood.
So that must have been a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, as we all know, in FanFest, they always tease new content that's coming out. So I'm just curious as to what do you think they are going to tease? Do you think we're going to get a new FemRoth video? Do you think we're going to get a new job trailer? What are you expecting from FanFest?
Yeah, so I think we'll get Female Hofka trailer. I think that's almost certain. And I also think we'll get the caster DPS trailer, which will probably be Green Mage. If the hint is right.
Yeah.
Which I think it is.
Is that what you want to see, or is that just are you okay with it, or how do you feel about a Green Mage coming into the game?
Honestly, it sounds cool. I'm very indifferent because I mostly play tanks. So for me, it's whatever. I want to see new stuff for Dark Knight personally, but
I've heard that before.
Green Mage sounds cool because it's meant to be a very supportive role in other Final Fantasies. So having it as a caster DPS could be pretty cool because if it's very supportive and defensive as a DPS, that could fill a unique void, I guess. And also, Summoner is no longer a dot-based job, so it could work out.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I haven't been playing this game for too long, but I feel like one of the things that I've always been hearing is that the next job is going to be an apothecary, and it's just funny to me, or it's interesting to me that I haven't really seen anybody talk about that job since like Shadowbringers when we got that one tease of that one character.
An apothecary. Yeah. I did used to subscribe to that idea, but I thought that was what Sage was gonna be, because I thought that would be a healer, But then, Sage turned out to be Sage, and well, now it just feels like it's gonna be Green Mage with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt he wore. Yeah. And also you see a 3-leaf clover. Spoiler warning for 6.5, but at the end of 6.5, you saw Crow hold a free green leaf clover. Yeah, which is the same green leaf clover on Green Mages in, I can't remember what Final Fantasy is. It's some trading card game, but
one of those. Yeah. So I do want to, and I asked this pretty much of all of my guests that come onto the show, but how did you get introduced to 14? How did you, when did you start playing, and how did you get into it?
Okay. I started 14 back in A Realm Reborn, and I wanted to get into it during 1.0 era, but I heard it was bad, so I stayed away from it. And honestly, I'll be honest, I saw like cat girls and saw anime and stuff, you know. I was like, yeah, this is my kind of anime.
This
so
is
I
for
gave
me.
it a go, you know.
Yeah.
So I gave it a go, and you know, ever since then I've kind of just stuck with it, like since A Realm Reborn. So,
yeah. Wow. So I mean, so that means you must have been playing through Realm Reborn before, you know, a lot of the filler got cut out. So I'm curious, what did you think of it? You know, your first playing through it.
It wasn't as bad as it was before the filler got cut out, because it was every 3 months we would have more story content, and that didn't feel so bad back then. I don't feel, but yeah, for new players, if you're coming into the game and before they cut all the filler out, it felt awful. And I don't know, I kind of liked it because I enjoyed the story of Realm Reborn back then, and having more quests and story quests was, like immersive for me, you know. But yeah, looking back at it, it was pretty awful.
What was this your first MMO, or did you play others in the past?
No, like my first MMO was like RuneScape when I was like really young.
Of course.
But I think the main primary MMO I played before 14 was actually Guild Wars 2. Which is a pretty fun MMO, I'll admit. But I kind of wanted more, you know, I wanted more progression, so that's kind of why I went with 14. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, when it comes to 14, I feel like everyone has their own niche, their own reason to play. What is your favorite part of 14? Is it the rating? Is it the storyline MSQ? Is it RP? What do you like to do in 14?
It's definitely the raiding. The ultimate raiding. Ultimate raids are probably my favorite piece of content this game has to offer, and I wish more people did them. And I try and convince people to do them. And I try and help, but it's hard. But yeah, no, Ultimate Raid's definitely best content they've made.
Gotcha. Have you completed all of the ultimates? Which one was your favorite?
DSR.
Yeah.
Very good ultimate, well made. It's just a phenomenal fight. I think it's a good time. It's really well made. I don't know, just everything works well in that fight. It doesn't feel miserable like top. Pretty good fight overall.
Yeah, like it's funny because as much as I've been wanting to jump into the ultimate rating scene, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to myself if I don't go back and complete, you know, every single extreme trial and every single savage raid. Would you recommend that I do that, or should I just jump into Uwu as soon as I have a party?
I think if you want to do an ultimate, just jump into the ultimate, and Uwu is the best place to start. It's like very much just getting your feet into ultimate. Then yeah, Uwu's a good place to start, and you don't need prior experience. Maybe you know, do a bit of savage raiding, but even then, like Uwu, loads of people have killed Uwu having touched savage raiding. So
that's fair.
Yeah, it's definitely a good place to start. Yeah,
so you know, we talked a little bit about you know, FanFest and Dawntrail is basically, you know, it's not until next summer, but you know, it's going to come by pretty fast, and I'm just curious as to what your expectations for 7.0 are.
Incredibly high.
Yeah.
After Endwalker, yeah, they're high. I'm hoping, like, maybe I'm hoping too much, but you know, on top of everything that we got in Endwalker, I hope a new exploration zone, and a new dungeon type of content, maybe something else. And maybe some new surprises, maybe a changed combat system, because it's been the same combat system since Shadowbringers, you know. Yeah, my expectations are pretty high. But the thing that will keep me happy the most is just adding in an exploration zone, honestly. And if they can, you know, work with the Criterion rewards, that'd be good as well.
Yeah, I've always felt that one of the things that the game could do a little bit better is to sort of connect a lot of the content that they have. I feel like, you know, even when it's something like Island Sanctuary, one of the things that I've been hearing a lot of people say is they don't really do it because it's like its own thing, and you don't really gain anything from it, especially for your own character. That they don't really feel like doing that. But I just felt like if they sort of connect a lot of these game modes somehow, I think it would be a little bit more incentivized for people to want to do them.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Like Island Sanctuary is, I don't know, it's kind of a one and done deal. You do it to get max rank, get the rewards from it, and then kind of be done with it because it just doesn't. I don't know. It's not like super fun content. At least not for me. I usually just want the rewards from it and then be done with it.
Yeah, yeah. I personally, I'm okay with Island Sanctuary. I just I don't know what they can add to improve it. Like I remember I was playing this game called Cult of the Lamb. It's a roguelike game, and it has like this section where, you know, you're fighting and you're going through a bunch of these like different floors, but they also have this whole section where you have like your own camp, and when you go out and fight, you gain stuff for your camp. And I always wondered if they could do something like that, you know, like add some sort of PvE element where like you go into like some dungeon in your island, and you know, you get either materials to craft stuff, or I don't know what they could do, but I feel like there's something there. They have a good baseline for Island Sanctuary. I think they just need to flesh it out a little bit more for people to enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I would love to see Island Sanctuary kind of expanded in that direction. It would be cool. Like when I heard that it was going to be merely, you know, just chilling out content, that's fine. It definitely should be.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if there was, I don't know, some sort of battle content in a way that you could do exactly what you described, like, you know, get some materials from enemies and stuff. And enter little dungeons and stuff like that would be really cool. Because right now it just feels kind of, I don't know, kind of shallow.
Yeah.
I don't think I hate the content, but it got to the point for me where it was like, do I go up to that very top of the mountain and just mine the rocks until I get to rank 20? You know, it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
there's definitely improvement to be made. They can definitely make it better.
Of course. You know, Yoshi P has talked a lot about how we are still getting about 10 more years of content in Final Fantasy 14. And I'm curious as to how you feel about the fact of, do you think every new Sprout should start in A Realm Reborn, or do you think they should have some sort of new start when it comes to either Dawntrail or, you know, 8.0, 9.0? How do you feel about that? Should Sprouts always start from A Realm Reborn, even 5 years from now?
It's actually a good question, because you see, next expansion, the level cap is going to be 100, right? That's 100 whole levels to get through as a Sprout. From 1 to 100. That's going to be daunting as hell.
Yeah.
I would like to see, like, people are going to hate me for this, but like, WoW uses a beginner's island sort of thing, right? I would like to see something like that in 14, where it could, like...
Can you explain that?
You know...
Because I'm not familiar with WoW.
Here's the thing, I'm not super familiar with it
okay.
either, but, like, I know it has a beginner's island that kind of, like, jump starts you into the game, rather than having to start from the standard beginner's zone and, you know, slowly quest through. I don't know, though, because it's still 100 levels. It's still, like, WoW has squished its leveling system, so I don't expect that from 14 just yet, but I don't know. It's like they have boosts, right? They have the 90 boosts, so it's like, would they want Sprouts to, you know, buy the boost? Is that what we're asking? Or do we want them to have a free boost? Just an optional first time boost?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they used to, I mean, they gave us one Fanta. You know, I don't see why they can't give us one boost. But
yeah, that could be a thing, I suppose. Like a free boost for buying the collector's edition or whatever they do. Well, maybe that's too pay to win. I don't know. But I don't know why, but I've always wanted like some sort of, like, I think what would be cool if they did implement like some sort of skip is they had like some sort of visual novel or something like that way people could still understand the stories of these old games but not have to play through them.
I don't know, just I with 10 more years of content, I just don't know how they can expect everybody to start from ARR, because I've always felt that one of the reasons why this game is kind of hard to recommend for new players is because you really have to approach them and say, hey, I know you're gonna spend a lot of time in this game, and it might take you about 300 hours just to come up to current content. And I just don't know how they can keep doing that to new people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've had friends before who are like, I really want to get into Final Fantasy 14, and I'm like, yeah, you should, but it's like, are you willing to do the 300 plus hours to get to get to my point? Like, I mean, sure, when you get to 50, we can do some, Realm Reborn stuff, but until you get to 50, which is still like, I don't know how long, 50 hours, something like that.
Something like
it's
that.
It's still quite the task.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Something like slides would work. It's just when I think about that, it would be cool, but also from a business standpoint, when they're already selling boosts, it's like, what will they do with that?
That's true.
But it has been something they said they are debating internally. So I don't know, and I feel like Dawn Trail would be the best time to implement such a system because it's a new start, right?
Yeah,
so and it would make sense. But
and speaking of Dawn Trail, I feel like everyone is a little bit heated on this discussion. But do you want the Scions to play a big part in Dawn Trail?
The Scions are great. I think they're really they're good characters. They're really fleshed out. We love them. But it would be nice if they somewhat got phased out for new characters, just to not be so intimidating if they were new players. So, if they were to do this, skip thing where you just meet the Scions, and then you get introduced to new characters, and slowly the Scions get phased out or do something else. I don't know. It's really difficult because, a lot of people love the Scions. So it's like...
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
I've always wondered if they're ever going to implement some sort of time skip for the characters, because I don't know how much longer they can keep Alphinaud and Alisaie, young. I feel like at some point they might have to do it for some sort of story reason, or just to flesh out the characters a little bit more. Do you want to see that happen, or should Alphinaud and Alisaie always stay little kids?
Well, I think it's explained that Elzen they don't fully they don't have their growth spurt until much later in life. So they could be older than they seem, but I would like to see some sort of time skip, because I think canonically it's 2 years since A Realm Reborn to Endwalker or something like that. I can't remember. I just heard whispers of that, and I'm like, I hope that's not true, because there's no way my character's done all that stuff in only 2 years time. It's a lot of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me.
Yeah,
I would like. I think narratively the game could probably benefit from some sort of time skip, but I feel like it's mostly an element of playing it safe and not doing that, which is
that's
in
fair.
the spirit of Square Enix.
Yeah. So, in a lot of your videos, you talk about, gameplay changes and you do guides and stuff. And I'm curious, is there a major gameplay change that you want to see implemented, even if it's, overpowered or unbalanced? For example, for me, myself, I would love for there to be some diversity with limit breaks. I've always wanted, every single class to have something unique. I was talking to a friend and we were like, wouldn't it be awesome if as a Dragoon, you just, become Nidhogg, or you just become a dragon, or with Machinist, you just become a literal Iron Man, something unique to each job, with their limit breaks. And that's something that I've always wanted to see implemented. But I'm wondering, for you, is there some sort of gameplay mechanic that you would like to see from another game implemented into this game, or something that you would find, just doing it for the fun of it? What sort of things would you like to see?
Yeah, I think maybe it's similar to what you just said, but something okay, it's used in a lot of League of Legends and stuff like that. I would love to see ultimates in FF14. Every job gets an ultimate, and they can only use it once per encounter.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. That would be really cool. What like like off the top of your like head, what would you want to see from that? Like sort of ultimate.
I don't know. Let's say let's take a random example. Okay,
Sure.
so Reaper, uses Void Scent.
Mhm.
Maybe they could transform into like an even badass more demon, like
Ooh.
Diablos, right?
Oh,
Like
that'd be
something
cool.
like that, for example. And just it does a ton of damage or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it leaves a lot of debuffs on the enemy, and it's like the problem is like they can't all be damage based, because if
Right.
they were all damage based, everyone would just use all their ultimates in their opener, and it would be just it would kind of like not make them feel special.
Yeah.
So they'd have to do something there. I mean, it's probably not going to happen, right? But it would be cool to see. But obviously, yeah, it has flaws, because if it was just there readily available, everyone would just use it in the opener, and yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my wild idea.
That's fair. I've seen a lot of YouTubers talk a lot about variant and Criterion dungeons. And I'm just curious, like, if you were a part of the dev team, how would you improve variant and Criterion dungeons? And what do you think of them so far?
Okay. So I watch a lot of Xenosis Facts. Okay? I've been following him for years, okay? And I agree with a lot of points he makes. So hopefully it's not just like me echoing what he said before, but I think variant is fine. Maybe it could be linked to relics. That would be cool if it was linked to relics. Of course, it's too late now.
Yeah.
As for normal Criterion, I think normal Criterion is maybe fine the way it is. Maybe too difficult. I don't know. But I think Savage Criterion is incredibly lazy. I think it's not good designed, because it's just normal mode Criterion, but enemies have more health, they do more damage, and you cannot die. And that is it. And that, to me, that's not in the spirit of Savage. That's something else. It's not Savage. So for me, Savage is, more mechanics and stuff that, what is more punishing. But
Right.
I don't know. Savage Criterion just doesn't cut it for me. And now they're adding gear to the Savage Criterion, and it's like, that's kind of missing the point. Like I feel normal mode Criterion should have had the gear.
Right.
Because
yeah.
Why do you want Savage Criterion to have gear when you need best in slot to do Savage Criterion anyway? Like, you need best in slot. If you don't have best in slot in Savage Criterion, you're trolling.
Yeah. And
that's it. Like,
it's funny that you say that, because I feel like the whole gearing conversation in general, I feel like I've been hearing that for a couple of years now, and I don't know if they're ever going to like implement some sort of change. I don't think the devs know how to fix it.
Yeah, I don't know. They just seem scared, I guess, to add extra options, because they don't want it to end up like, WoW's Mythic Plus system, which is, you do a dungeon on Mythic Plus, the higher your keystone gets, the better your gear gets, the higher the stakes are. They don't want to end up doing that, and I get that, but they don't have to do that. I think all people really want is like an alternative to gearing. So just maybe Criterion could just give right side accessories, something like that, which are max item level for the current patch. Something like that would be cool, a cool alternative to gearing, and would also eliminate the problem of that you only have 2 rings, right? You only have the Tome Ring and the Savage Ring of best in slot, and that's all your options, or an unupgraded Tome Ring. So having like an extra right side would be cool, in my opinion, because then you have free options for rings, so you can switch between one of them.
Right.
But something like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I think a lot of us, it's all we're asking for is just a little alternative for gearing. But yeah, they seem scared of it, so I don't know.
Okay. I was watching one of your, I think your most recent video that was titled "The Problem with Final Fantasy Endwalker's Expansion," and there was a moment where you said that the raid tier, like this raid tier, has been weak in your opinion, and I'm just curious as to like what didn't you like about the Endwalker raid tier?
That's a good question. So Asmodeus was overall, I think, a pretty good raid tier.
Yeah.
The second boss was good. The third boss, Phoenix, was actually really good, but it burnt my eyes out.
Yeah.
Hesperus was a pretty damn good boss fight. Then Abyssus was Ruby Proto Carbuncle, sorry, was a really good fight. The next two fights were absolutely really weak. The final fight, PAS, was a really good door boss, but overtuned to hell. Like it was really bad. It's like the developers didn't test it. I don't know. And phase 2 was okay, but there was a puzzle mechanic to phase 2, and once you knew the puzzle mechanic, it was kind of easy. And then Anabosius, or whatever it's called, however you pronounce it.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think P10 and phase 1 of P12 was the only good fights in that raid, in my opinion. So I don't know. Overall, I feel like it's kind of weak. I feel like the door boss issue, like maybe not everyone agrees with me, but like sometimes these door bosses end up being better fights than the final fight, and I think that's like just weird. It shouldn't be the case. You know?
Well, what was like the general reaction to that video of your door boss video?
Oh, my door boss video. Oh gosh. A lot of people agreeing with me, and you know, a lot of people also disagreeing with me, but helpfully, which was fine, because it was, you know, entertainment more video. Yeah. Because I do state that this is a biased opinion that I've built upon, and you know, door bosses work for people, and some people like these door bosses, and that's great. I'm glad they do. But personally, I don't like the fact that some door bosses feel better than the final fight, and sometimes the final fight feels just incomplete. Like PAS is my biggest example. I absolutely loved the door boss in that fight, and I feel like he could have just got fleshed out with like an extra phase, and he would have probably felt better overall. But yeah, that's just me. Yeah. Some people absolutely hate PAS door boss with a burning passion, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, everyone's entitled to their opinions, like you said in that video. Yeah. So I do want to talk to you a little bit about, you know, being a VTuber, and I think where I want to start is just by asking, you know, what was your thought process into going into that? Like, what inspired you to want to even debut a VTuber model in the first place?
Okay, so I think it was honestly a friend just being like, I'd watch a Azu VTuber, like just as a joke. Yeah. And it just got me thinking to do it. And then I kind of just impulsively went with it. Yeah. And I wasn't like too big on the VTuber scene. I'm still not too big on it because I don't care too much about it. It's more just a thing that I do because I'm more comfortable doing this. Like I've face cammed before, and I didn't enjoy it as much as this. This just doesn't even feel like I'm on face cam. But you know, it's still kind of expressive and interactive. So yeah.
What is that process like? You know, for people who have no idea like where to start, how do you like can you explain that process from, you know, thinking about what it looks like to the finished process at the end?
Okay, so it honestly varies person by person. I was very impulsive with it. I just got my femra at the beginning, my female aura, and I got an artist to make a unique costume for her. And then at that point, I found a model artist, and I got the model artist to create the live 2D, right? And then I found an animator to animate it, and then, you know, that was my 1.0. It was my female aura. Now, admittedly, I feel like I rushed that because, you know, now I'm here with a different model, and a lot happier with it. It's the same artist and everything. They did a good job both times, but I would say if you ever want to like get into it, for anyone watching, it's more probably start off with a PNG, get like an idea in mind, and start off with a PNG, just a static image, and like see how you like that, and see how you like actually, you know, kind of VTubing. Yeah, and then kind of go from there. If that makes sense, yeah.
So yeah, and so I guess my next question for you is, like when you think about your VTuber, like do you consider that as like a character, or are you just being yourself when you're, you know, like when you're streaming?
I'm just being myself. Okay. Like for me, it's just a way to express myself without just not having a camera on or anything at all. It's just a way to be interactive without having to look good, because I'm very, I don't know, I'm very self-conscious, I guess. Yeah. Like I gotta make sure my hair's okay and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for anybody who's trying to start being a VTuber?
Oh gosh, yeah. I would say other than just don't rush it, start PNG first and go from there and just see if you like it, see if you enjoy it.
Gotcha.
As for like growing and stuff as a VTuber, I have no idea. You can tell me how to do that,
right?
I still don't know.
Gotcha. So okay, so I do want to move over to your YouTube now. So, you hit 2,000 subs on YouTube, and I'm just curious, like, how did you react to that? How did you celebrate even when you hit your 20K?
I felt pretty happy. I was like, I wasn't running around my house or anything, but I was pretty chuffed to see it because it's definitely a lofty goal. Is that the right word? I don't know. It was a good goal. And I've been doing it a little under a year now, so hitting 20K, it's good in my opinion. I had no prior experience doing all this kind of stuff. I just kind of jumped into it, and I mean, it was good. It was a good feeling overall. Yeah.
What was...
I didn't. Sorry, I was just gonna say I didn't really like celebrate it much. Just okay.
Well, what was the reaction of the people like around you, like your friends and families, like when you hit that 20K?
My friends like sent me messages congratulating me, and I posted a YouTube community tab, and I think I also posted on Twitter as well. I hit it, and everyone was congratulating me, so that was pretty nice. My family do know I YouTube as well, so they were they were supportive, and they see it as a good goal, so it's overall positive.
What motivated you to wanting to make YouTube videos in the first place?
So it's a thing I've wanted to do since I was like back in college, as a student, but I just didn't know how to do it. I didn't know a thing about video editing, and I didn't know where to start. So I had no idea, and then COVID happened. I got a job. Didn't really, the job was okay. I had nice people and stuff like that, but overall, I didn't know what to do with my life. Okay, so I studied, I did all kinds of stuff, and then I was like, I'm gonna make a YouTube video. I made a YouTube video, and it was awful. And it's my first YouTube video, and it's not on my channel. It's unlisted. No one's watching that until I don't know, some sort of sub goal, I guess.
Right.
And from there, I just kind of kept making videos, and I kept experimenting. And then one day, my friend was like, Endwalker came out. My friend was like, why don't you make dungeon guides? You're a good player. You can probably break these down. Why don't you make dungeon guides? Maybe that'll, grow your channel. So I did that. I made dungeon guides, and suddenly my channel started growing a lot overnight. And from there I kind of just
it is crazy just to even think about it, because within a year, you've already hit this, I think, pretty huge milestone. Do you ever like think about that you're basically sort of in this position where you can just grow your channel and literally become a full-time content YouTube creator, which I think is probably one of those jobs or careers that a lot of people have or dream about but can never really attain. Do you ever like take a step back and just think about how far you've come?
Yes, I definitely do, but I'm also extremely hard on myself as well. I am I beat myself up a lot.
Is that imposter syndrome?
Maybe. I mean, I definitely do compare myself to others as well, which isn't the best thing to do. I don't recommend it. Everyone's channel and content is it's unique to themselves, right? So,
of course.
But no, I do think I can definitely make this work. I'm trying to make it work full time actually right now. So it's definitely something I can do. I think once you get to a certain point on YouTube, you have a good foundation. That's what I like to call it. I have a good foundation, but I'm not there yet. I haven't made it yet. That's what I tell myself. So it's I do agree. Yeah, I can definitely, with that kind of numbers, you can make it happen. But honestly, when you get to like 1K subscribers, you can make it happen. Once you know you can grow, that's when you know, okay, I know how to grow. Because a lot of people who do YouTube don't even get past 1,000 subscribers, so once you get past that 1,000, I'd say that's when you're like, okay, this is working. I mean, I can make this happen, right? So it's just, keep going from there. I think the only thing that would like stop you from going past that point is just giving up, or not, or being repetitive. I think is also something that will, not grow you. So if I was to continue to make guides and guides and guides and guides, I probably would grow, but not at the rate I'd want to grow. So I want to experiment with my content and change my content up to continue to grow.
What does that look like for you?
For me, that is making job guides, but adding entertainment to them. So they're not just a job guide that just gives you the information and that's it. They've got jokes. They've got really cringe jokes. They've got really cringe humor and stuff like that. That's just me. That's how it is. Yeah. But overall, the reception to them has been good. They haven't got a hell of a lot of views because job guides this late into the expansion is not the best, because everyone's either playing other games or they don't really care because it's they're waiting for Dawn Trail, right? Everyone's waiting for Dawn Trail. So, so it's more of an experimental phase for me, really, more than anything else.
I've talked to other creators in the 14 space, and I've heard a lot of them say that they feel that the YouTube community is somewhat inconsistent when it comes to watching videos and view counts. And I'm just curious, like, have you noticed that with your channel? How do you see the 14 community on YouTube?
14 community on YouTube is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's like they hate controversy, yet they eat it up like no tomorrow. Like if that stuff is, if that's posted on YouTube, they're gonna flock to it. And if you post like positivity, like I did it, I tried to also post a positive video, and it did just nowhere near as well as like the problems of Endwalker,
Yeah.
And it was kind of like an experiment for me. I was gonna see, well, what will people's reaction be if I be more positive, and it wasn't as good. But that's how it is. It really depends as well. Like discoverable content is obviously going to do better than non-discoverable content. So like an opinion of mine, maybe I hate door bosses. Okay, it did okay.
Yeah.
But say if I was to make a more discoverable video, like my most popular video on my channel, which is the best quality of life settings for FF14, which is like 180k.
That's the first one that I saw.
Right? Yeah, because people are looking that stuff up, right? People are Googling that kind of stuff. So that content is obviously going to do a lot better than opinions. Your opinion.
What do you consider a good performing video? Like, are you looking at view counts? Are you looking at retention rate? How do you see it?
You're definitely looking at all of those, I would say. It really depends. So if you make a 10-minute video and your retention rate is like 5 minutes or so, that's pretty decent, I would say. It really depends on the type of video, I guess. For longer, how do you say it? For bigger videos, basically. If you have less views, but like even if they have less views, if it's a longer video, they still somewhat do better than a shorter video with less views, with more views, because it's a longer video, people have watched it longer, and it does generate more money. So also when it's an informative video or a guide or something, you're probably going to get more subscribers as well. That's something I've noticed as well. Even if I make the problem with Endwalker versus a guide, and this guide did a lot less views, it might still give me more subscribers because people are more like, this is a helpful channel, this is the content I want, so they might subscribe to it. Meanwhile, if it's just someone moaning about Endwalker, they might eat it up, but they might not subscribe because they're like, whatever, right? Like, cool opinion, bro. Like a lot of people like to hate watch that stuff as well, but
that's the internet in general. Everybody complains about everything, and no one's ever satisfied.
Yeah, definitely.
how many how many projects are you typically working on at a time, or are you just focused on one video, and once that video's out the door, you move on to the next one?
A bit of both. I have like 4 to 5 scripts currently that I'm working on.
Yeah.
And I like to focus on one, but sometimes I get ideas for a different script, so I go back to that script and I type those ideas out. But it's better to focus on one video idea, because it's like, if I'm all over the place, I don't even know what video I'm gonna make in days, you know? So.
Yeah. Do you have, like, in your like on your phone or like on your computer, do you have like a like on your notes app or like on a text document, do you just have like a list of a bunch of ideas that you want to do?
I do.
Yeah.
I do, indeed. Whenever an idea pops to my head, I get my phone out and I open a notepad which has a bunch of video ideas, and I just type them down.
Yeah. Okay. And
they're always there.
Yeah, and I'm not looking for like a a precise number or anything, but if you were to guess, like, how many ideas are on that notepad?
It's not many. It's about 13, I would say.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not an incredible amount. I definitely need to up my game a bit.
Yeah. Okay.
When I'm focused on 5 scripts at the same time, I think my mind is more on just making these scripts, and I'm trying to make them funny as well and do stupid jokes. So. Even sometimes I'll get a joke and I'll write that down on my notepad to put into that video.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, so for me, I have an entire 10 terabyte hard drive where I just have all of the videos that I've made, all of the footage that I've recorded. I'm just curious, like for you, do you how do you manage your the video that you record? Like how do you manage all of that?
I wait a few days, see if it got copyright striked or claimed, and then I delete it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I have no organization. It's all over the place. When I'm making a video, I have to make one video at a time, and there's files and pictures all over my documents.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
It's just So I have to get rid of that as soon as I finish making that video. So I wait a few days, a few hours. I wait until it's fully checked out and it's not getting any copyright claim or strikes or whatever. And then, so I know that if it does get claimed, I can take the video down, change the music or whatever, and then re-upload it. But it's all fine.
That's the worst.
Yeah,
and that's actually a pretty interesting idea. So when it comes to videos where you have to take them down for either an editing reason or you for whatever whatever reasons, like does that happen? Like how many times has that happened to you where you had to like take down a video and then just like re-upload it? Like how do you, like, what is your mindset when it comes to those types of issues?
It honestly hasn't happened often at all.
Okay.
It's just something that I do keep in mind if it does. Obviously, strikes are another matter, which screw you over and you genuinely want to avoid them, but a claim is something that you can, usually it's automated process, so, maybe take 24 hours tops, whatever, probably not even that, and you'll notice that there's a claim on the channel, so you can change it. But otherwise, no, it doesn't really happen to me like that.
Gotcha.
Fortunately enough.
Yeah. So I know that you have 2 other YouTube channels, and specifically you have one called The History, Rise, Fall, and Future of the MMORPG Genre, and that video was 2 hours long. So I'm just curious as to what is the editing process like for such a long video like that?
The script and research probably took the longest for that video. That was an enormous video, probably my most high production video ever done. I don't know, probably took me 400 hours probably, around that much to make that video, because it was a lot of research, like having to go back in time and do all that, and it was quite the huge task. That is actually a video that I did get copyright claimed on. That is a video that did happen. I did have to go back and re-upload it, but other than that, that video was huge. it was an experiment because I wanted to do an essay type of video.
Yeah.
It's a topic, I am very much invested in.
Yeah.
MMOs in general. So yeah, that was something I definitely enjoyed making, and it's taught me a lot about MMOs in general as well.
Yeah.
Just about the history and what not to do.
Yeah.
In a way.
I agree, and I remember I saw I've always wanted to make really long content like that, and I don't even know why I enjoy it. Like, I remember watching like a 4-hour video on like the God of War franchise. I saw like a 3-hour video on like Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm always so envious of people who can just talk for that long about one like subject. So
yeah.
I want to make similar videos.
Yeah, I think, if you're passionate about the subject, you definitely can. It's not like you're sitting there talking about it for 3 hours straight. For me, I separated my MMO video into multiple chapters, and I individually recorded each chapter as their own videos, and then I combined it all together.
Okay.
Rather than, talking the whole, I don't know, I can't remember how many words it was, like 20k words, something like that.
Wow.
In one go.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because for me, when I make videos, I think that is the part that I am most uncomfortable with, is just the talking aspect of it. Like, if I have a script that I've written up, just going through my script and talking through it. I don't know why. It's just so, I feel so awkward doing that. And I'm curious, like, did you feel that way when you started as well? Like, did you feel weird just trying to, talk about a subject? Like, how did you get over that?
Yes, 100%. I was very awkward when I made my first. I had a few videos. Okay, so here's the thing, right? I did a few scripted videos when I started out. I then churned out videos unscripted. A lot of people do unscripted videos with just notes, and you kind of just talk that way. So that might be something that you could do. But overall, you do get used to it. You do get better at it. Like, all my videos are currently scripted now.
Yeah.
And it's, at the beginning, you are very awkward. You're just reading a script, but it's like it's kind of a light form of voice acting. Because,
right.
If you ever play a game or watch an animated movie or whatever, and you hear a really bad voice actor, it's like they're just reading from a script really awkwardly.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt when I first was reading from a script. I was like, Jesus, I'm like one of those really bad voice actors. But I got more confident, and I think a bit of advice I got was to just what was the word? I don't know. Just try and express yourself. Try and just, you're talking into the script, but like, talk how you normally would talk. I know that's probably easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
But like, you gotta just really read it like you mean it, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
yeah, I think for me, my issue has always been that when I write, I don't necessarily write the way that I talk. So whenever I'm reading off of my script, it just sounds odd to me. And I think that has always been my issue. And I'm just constantly trying to rewrite it, just trying to make it sound not weird, I guess.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think I kind of did that at the beginning, and I started to try and say it in my head how I would say something, and then write it down as the script, if that makes sense, and then delete unnecessary things, because when you don't script, you'll say a lot of unnecessary things. You'll say this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and it's like you didn't need to say all of those ands, something like that, right? But I would honestly say, like, if you wanted to do long form content or just like longer content, like, start with notes, and just kind of make those notes talking points, and kind of use them to make a script, if that makes sense. But you're not really making a script. Like, I do unscripted content when I'm talking opinionated content. Like, I think the problem with FFXIV and Endwalker, I think that was unscripted. I can't remember actually. I think it was note based, mostly.
Yeah. The only other thing is, I cannot stand the sound of my own voice. And like, every time that I'm trying to edit a video that I made, I'm just like, why would anybody listen to this? Why would anybody listen to me? Because I don't know, I cringe. I really cringe when I hear the sound of my voice. Did you ever feel that, like, at the start?
Yes, very, very much so. And I think it's a completely normal thing. You'll start to, maybe I'm just like, maybe I'm too vain, but I started to like my voice. But only when people started to say they like my voice.
Yeah.
But before that, I hated my voice. I was like, I sound so cringe. I sound like a little nerd. I sound like a guy who's like holding his nose, like this, like. I used to get bullied a lot for my voice as well. So like,
me too.
I didn't like it. Yeah. I didn't like it, but you know what? I think people who bully you for your voice, they're probably just jealous of your voice,
Yeah, right.
So I wouldn't worry about it. I think, I think just starting out, it's gonna be like that. But when you get used to it, the more you do it, and the more people that discover your content, and say your voice sounds good and stuff like that, it'll boost your confidence. Like people aren't gonna watch your video and listen to your video if they don't like your voice. So if if you make those kind of content. And you're getting views and stuff like that, then people are willing to listen to your voice, so they clearly like it, right?
Yeah,
at least
that's fair. That is definitely fair.
I wouldn't worry too much.
Okay, so I know that you stream like almost daily, right?
I am
just about
the world's most inconsistent streamer. So I have these bursts of like streaming every day, and then I'm suddenly gone for a week. I stream every 2 days a week, and then, that's it.
Okay.
And, it's so weird and random with me. It kind of just depends on my mood and how I'm feeling. Streaming for me is like a comfort. If I'm streaming a lot, I'm probably just, I probably just need some relaxation, and that's kind of what I've been doing and why I've been streaming so much.
Gotcha.
Yeah. For me, it's sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna ask, do you prefer to stream or do you prefer to make YouTube videos?
Hard question, I'll be honest. Like, I love sitting there editing all night until like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do that. But I also love streaming. The problem with streaming is streaming on Twitch is incredibly difficult for growth.
I've heard.
And if you want to do something to grow on Final Fantasy 14, you need to have a specific niche. Like if you just do a bunch of random stuff, you might grow and build a community. Like I've built a nice community. I get around, when I stream FF14, I'm doing any content.
Yeah.
I'll probably get around 20 to 30 viewers. But if I'm doing like Ultimate PF and stuff like that, I might get around 40 to 50.
Yeah.
A lot more people are attached to that kind of content. And it's the same with mental relates. If I was to just sit there and stream mental relates, I might also get around 40 to 50 because people like watching you suffer and get extreme trials.
Yeah, like, that's fair.
It really depends, but for me, it's just I kind of do it as a comfort thing, and I want to grow on it. I want to grow on it, and I do really enjoy streaming, and I do really enjoy YouTube. But streaming is easier. There's no argument there. It's infinitely easier than having to sit there, write a script, do all the research, storyboard a video, get all the content for a video, put it all together, edit it up, get the thumbnail together, upload it, do the description, do the timestamps, and then deal with the comments.
For me, it's the thumbnails. Like I for whatever reason, that just never clicked for me. Like, what is your mindset going into creating a thumbnail? Because that to me has always been the hardest part of making a YouTube video is just the thumbnail and the title. What is your mindset to thumbnails?
So a lot of people do this differently. Some people even make a thumbnail first and then make a video, which is a very interesting way, but it's good because if you have an idea for a really good thumbnail and then you can make a video off that, that's a good idea. But for me personally, I make the video first, do all that, right? And then I do the thumbnail. And the thumbnail has to be selling the video, if that makes sense. But it also has to be telling a different story as well. It has to be telling the same story but in a different way to your title, or it can be in relation to your title but not saying the exact same thing. It really depends. On the topic and on the video.
Yeah.
And my thumbnails have gotten better over time. I still hate them. I still think they're trash.
They're great.
They have definitely improved over time. And if you go to my channel, you'll probably see my oldest iterations of my thumbnails, and if you go all the way to my newest, you'll see, you know, my newest iteration of thumbnails, and they've definitely developed a lot. So it does take time getting better at it. No one's gonna be, you know, super good at thumbnails straight away unless you're like a graphic designer. You know exactly how this kind of stuff is. But if you're like me and you're starting from scratch, it's a process where you just don't know how anything works. So you'll get the hang of it.
Gotcha.
It's definitely
Yeah. What are some of your future plans for your channel?
Good question. So I actually want to diversify and branch out. The problem is I don't know exactly how to do it. So I have a second channel with the MMO video and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do I keep off-topic videos there, or do I do it this way and have fully scripted out videos on my main channel and unscripted and low effort videos on my off channel and focus on Final Fantasy 14 but still do other videos? Because there's a content creator who I really look up to, and he's called Jolson, and I watch a lot of his videos, if you know of him. And I've talked to Jolson, and he's given me advice as well.
Okay.
Great guy, by the way.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask him to come on at some point. Hopefully he says yes. Yeah.
Because I would love to hear some insight from him. So if you could, go for it. But no, honestly, he's branched out his channel from FF14 to other topics, and he's done a really good job at it. And that's kind of what I see, and I'm like, damn, I kind of, I would like to do the same. So I'm definitely looking at his channel and seeing how he does that. So that's why I'm still in the process of what do I do? How do I do this? So I'm still, planning out. And I hope, by the time Dawn Trail comes out, I have a good idea of how I want to do that.
Yeah.
But, for plans, that's what I'm debating right now. I don't
know. And it's tough. I've talked to a lot of other creators about this exact topic about branching to other games, and I feel like a lot of creators, especially in the 14 space, they feel in a way boxed in to only make 14 content. And I've talked to a lot of them who say, I could put out a non-14 content, but it won't do really well, and it just sort of hits them in the ego to not wanting to try to continue doing that. And I can definitely see that. When you're hitting 10, 20k like views every single video, and then all of a sudden you hit one that barely reaches like 1,000. I can see how that could hit the ego, especially if you put in, a lot of time into the editing and trying to get everything right. It's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, I think that's something that really hit me. Because before Diablo 4, my channel transitioned into being diverse and covering other games and stuff. But I released the Diablo 4 video, and as you said, most of the videos getting 10, 20k, and then that video barely hitting 1k. I was like, that's not great. And then I went back to primarily focusing on 14 because of that, really. And then I looked at Jolson's channel, as I said, and he's been really smart about it. Like, he hasn't just, like I did. I went and covered 14 content and then did a Diablo 4 review. Who cares about my Diablo 4 review? Okay, I'm a Final Fantasy 14 content creator, and I released a Diablo 4 review. Who cares, honestly? So what Jolson did is he made Final Fantasy 14 content, but then also made a Baldur's Gate 3, the best mods you could use, right? And that's a video that's discoverable, and a lot of people are going to find it. And maybe, Baldur's Gate is a very popular game, so a lot of people from his channel were probably already playing it and probably clicked that video, and that helped it in the algorithm and also the search. And it probably just kind of, got really good from there. And, since then, he's done reviews of other games, and, more people have came in from his channel. So it's obviously helped, right? So, I'm using him as a point of reference here, but it's a good point of reference.
Okay. So I want to say thank you again for coming on. This has been really, really fun, really enlightening. It's always fun for me to be able to bounce ideas off other, creators, because, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy making videos for people, and, funny, silly little memes. So it's always interesting to be able to get like your perspective from other creators about the entire space. But I just want to give you the time just to plug your channels, you know, tell people how can people find you?
Sure. So you can find me at YouTube at Azurite FFXIV. You can find me at Twitch and Twitter at Azuritian. And you know, I'll just type that in chat because that's a really awkward spelling. That's how you spell that. Well, yeah, it's my name. And yeah, that is mostly it. I do have a TikTok, which is the same name, but you know, I'm using TikTok to just spread my name. I don't.
Yeah. But all right, thank you to Twitch chat for being here. Thank you to TikTok chat for being here. This has been great. My name's Alpacalypse, and I will see you all on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.